Welcome to Curious Minds Unmasked podcast, where we uncover the hidden wonders of the world.
All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling a question that's as old as humanity itself. How might extraterrestrials actually be getting around this, well, ridiculously huge universe?
It's a question that forces us to think about just how limited we are as humans.
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
take our closest star neighbor, Proxima Centauri.
Okay.
It's only about 4.2 light years away,
Only, he says.
a cosmic stone's throw.
Right. But still, if we were to hop on Voyager 1, our fastest spacecraft right now, it would take us over 70,000 years to get there.
You got it.
That's longer than humans have even been recording history.
Which leads to the big question, if ET is out there paying visits, how are they getting around this cosmic speed limit?
That's what we're here to explore. So let's kick things off with something that's been a sci-fi favorite for ages, faster than light travel.
Sure.
I mean, it's the holy grail, right, to just zoom across the galaxy.
Right.
But doesn't Einstein's theory of relativity kind of put a damper on that?
Well, yes. According to the theory, as anything gets closer and closer to the speed of light, the energy needed to keep accelerating, it just explodes.
Oh, I see.
So to get a regular spacecraft anywhere near that speed, we'd need more energy than exists on the entire planet.
So not exactly something we can try out in the garage.
Not quite.
Okay, but what about warping space itself? That whole warp drive concept, like we see in Star Trek, bending space to take shortcuts. What's the deal with that?
The Alcubierre warp drive, it's a fascinating idea. Picture this. You have a spacecraft inside a bubble of space-time.
Okay, got it.
Now imagine squashing the space in front of the bubble and stretching the space behind it. The bubble itself actually moves faster than light, carrying the spacecraft along, but it's not actually breaking the speed limit within its own little warped bubble.
Whoa, that's like creating your own personal slipstream.
That's a good way to put it.
Pretty clever.
I agree.
But where are we going to get the power for all of this? Didn't you say the energy requirements would be astronomical?
You're absolutely right. We'd need more energy than is produced by all the stars in our entire galaxy.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
That's why, for now, the warp drive is still just a concept.
Yeah.
But it does make you wonder, what if there are energy sources out there that we haven't even dreamed of? Maybe, just maybe, advanced civilizations have figured out how to tap into something far beyond our understanding.
It's a very intriguing thought.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to another mind-bending idea. Wormholes. Tunnels through space-time that could connect distant parts of the universe.
Okay.
Is this like a cosmic subway system?
Think of it this way. You fold a piece of paper in half.
Okay.
A wormhole is like punching a hole right through, so those 2 points connect directly. Traveling through that tunnel would be way faster than going the long way around the paper.
Sign me up for that express route.
Yeah.
But I've heard there are some issues with wormholes, right? Don't they tend to collapse really quickly?
Yeah, stability is the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
The math suggests you'd need something called negative energy to keep them open. And negative energy, well, it's not something we can just whip up in a lab. It's a really theoretical idea,
Ah, so we're talking about a physics miracle to make these wormholes work.
basically. Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, advanced aliens have figured it out. What if they're already cruising through wormholes as we speak,
It's definitely a possibility.
sipping their cosmic cocktails, laughing at our slowpoke spaceships?
If they've cracked the code of negative energy or maybe found naturally occurring stable wormholes, they could be zipping across the universe in the blink of an eye.
All right, hold on tight because this next idea is a wild one. What if UFOs aren't actually spaceships at all, but glimpses of beings popping in and out of our reality from other dimensions,
Okay, that's interesting.
like interdimensional tourists? But how would they even do that?
We're talking about parallel dimensions here. String theory, for example, suggests there might be more dimensions than we can perceive.
That's a lot to wrap your head around.
Right. Now imagine, what if extraterrestrials exist in these higher dimensions and they're just briefly passing through our reality?
That would explain why UFO sightings are often so quick and strange. They're just popping in for a quick look and then vanishing back into their own dimension. But how would they even manage that?
Well, we can't explore other dimensions with our current technology,
Right.
but some physicists believe that certain subatomic particles might hold the key. Imagine being able to manipulate those particles to create a bridge between dimensions, like a doorway into the unknown.
Okay, now for another brain twister.
Mm.
What if these extraterrestrials aren't traveling through space, but through time itself? Like they're messing with the very fabric of space-time.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's making me dizzy just thinking about it.
It taps into the concept of time dilation. Essentially, time actually slows down for things moving near the speed of light.
Okay, so it's not about moving super fast. It's about warping time itself.
Exactly. Imagine a set of twins. One stays on Earth, the other blasts off on a spaceship traveling near the speed of light. When the traveling twin returns, they've aged less than the twin who stayed on Earth.
Whoa, it's like that twin paradox.
Precisely. So maybe advanced extraterrestrials are taking advantage of time dilation to make interstellar journeys less daunting. What might seem like eons to us could be just a quick hop for them.
Okay, but let's take this a step further. What if our universe isn't the only one? What if there are countless parallel universes, each with its own set of physical laws?
The multiverse. Now we're getting into some truly wild territory.
Right. But how would that help with extraterrestrial travel?
Imagine a universe where the speed of light is different, or where traveling between dimensions is as easy as catching a train.
Okay, now my brain is officially melting.
Extraterrestrials could come from such a universe, a place where the rules of the game are completely different from ours.
All right, I need a moment to process all of this. But before we get completely lost in the multiverse, I think there are a few other possibilities for extraterrestrial travel that we should touch on.
Of course.
What else is on the list?
Well, there's the idea of quantum teleportation, which would eliminate travel time altogether. Imagine instantly transporting matter from one point to another using entangled particles.
Like beaming Scotty up to the Enterprise. Is that even remotely possible?
We've actually demonstrated it with tiny particles, but scaling it up to a spaceship, let alone a living being, well, that's a whole other challenge.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to planes for now.
Ah.
So what other potential ET travel methods are there?
Another concept is time distortion.
Okay.
Perhaps some advanced civilizations aren't physically traveling vast distances, but instead they're manipulating our perception of time. They could create a temporary bubble where time flows differently, allowing them to appear and disappear instantly.
So it's not that they're moving fast, it's that our perception of time is being messed with.
Precisely. It's like they're hitting the fast-forward button on our reality.
That's trippy.
And then there's the always intriguing idea that some UFOs could be time travelers from our own future.
Okay, time travelers.
Visiting their past with technology that we can't even fathom yet.
Whoa, like a cosmic family reunion with our descendants coming back to say hi?
It's a fascinating concept. But like all the others, we need more than just speculation. We need evidence.
Evidence, right. But that's a conversation for another time. For now, I think we need to shift gears a bit. Let's explore the mind-boggling technologies and biological adaptations that extraterrestrials might have developed to actually make interstellar travel possible.
Now that's where the real fun begins. After all, it's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's also about surviving the journey.
Absolutely.
And that's no small feat. Just imagine the tech you'd need to travel the cosmos. It's not just about speed. It's about harnessing energy in ways we can barely even wrap our heads around.
It's true. Every theory we've talked about, from warp drives to wormholes, it all comes down to needing crazy amounts of energy. Like the universe has set up this giant energy barrier, and it's like, okay, try and get past this.
You're exactly right. And if a civilization somewhere out there has figured out how to get past that barrier, it opens up so many possibilities. What kind of energy sources are they using? Maybe something totally exotic, like zero-point energy.
Zero-point energy.
This theoretical energy field that quantum physics says is everywhere, all around us.
Like a limitless cosmic battery.
That sounds amazing.
But even if we could somehow solve that energy problem, space itself is a pretty rough place. How would these space travelers deal with all the radiation, the lack of gravity, just the incredible loneliness of traveling between stars?
That's where things get even more interesting. Us humans, we're pretty fragile. With our bodies and needing to breathe oxygen, we're not exactly built for long trips in space.
Definitely not. A few months on the International Space Station, and astronauts come back with weaker bones, their muscles have shrunk, all sorts of health problems. Imagine a trip to Proxima Centauri, which would take tens of thousands of years with our current tech. We'd need to seriously upgrade our biology to make it.
Precisely. Maybe those extraterrestrial visitors aren't even humanoid, but something totally different. Some scientists have even imagined bioengineered beings, almost like living spaceships, perfectly adapted to space travel.
Bioengineered aliens. Now that's mind-blowing. So instead of little green men in spaceships, we might be talking about creatures that can just shrug off radiation, hibernate for centuries, maybe even create their own food from sunlight.
The possibilities are endless when you start thinking about biological adaptation and even merging with technology, cybernetic enhancements, genetic modifications, maybe even transferring consciousness into more durable forms.
Whoa, hold on. Consciousness transfer. Like uploading your mind into a robot body made for space. That sounds straight out of science fiction.
It's definitely pushing the limits of what we know right now. But who knows what a civilization millions of years ahead of us could do? And let's not forget about artificial intelligence. A super advanced AI could pilot a spacecraft for thousands of years, gathering data, exploring new worlds, maybe even deciding whether or not to make contact with other species, all without the biological limitations of a living crew.
So maybe it wouldn't be aliens visiting us, but they're super smart robots. That's both cool and a little creepy. Imagine a silent, sleek spaceship just showing up in our solar system, controlled by an AI that's been watching us for centuries, learning everything about our history, our technology, what we're good at, and what we're not so good at.
It makes you think about what first contact would even be like. Would we even recognize an alien intelligence if it was so different from us? What if their technology was so advanced it looked like magic to us?
It's like that Arthur C. Clarke quote, right? Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. We might be looking for radio signals in spaceships while they're communicating through quantum entanglement or manipulating gravity in ways we can't even understand.
Exactly. We're limited by what we know, our current understanding of physics and technology. But if we open our minds to things beyond our current grasp, it opens up a universe of amazing possibilities.
I like that. It reminds us that we're just at the beginning of understanding the universe and where we fit in. But I have to say, part of me wonders if we're overcomplicating this whole alien travel thing.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, we've been thinking that extraterrestrials would want to come to Earth, that they'd be interested in meeting us.
Yeah.
But what if they have completely different goals? What if they're not interested in us at all?
It's an interesting perspective. We tend to assume that other intelligent beings would be like us, curious about exploring and connecting with others. But that might not be the case at all.
Exactly. Maybe they've already scanned our planet from a distance, got all the info they need, and decided we're not worth the trip. Maybe we're just not that interesting to them.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it? To think that everything we've achieved, our history, our art, our stories, might seem totally ordinary to a really advanced civilization. Or maybe they are watching us, but from afar, like anthropologists studying a primitive tribe.
Cosmic anthropologists, I like that. So instead of welcoming us as long-lost relatives, maybe we're just specimens under their microscope.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Are we a fascinating study or a warning? Are they watching us with hope or with worry?
I guess it depends on how they see our, let's just say, not-so-great track record here on Earth: wars, pollution, climate change. Maybe they're watching us, waiting to see if we'll destroy ourselves before we can join a galactic community.
It's a sobering thought, but it shows how important it is to not only search for alien life, but also to think about our own actions and our place in the universe. Are we ready to be responsible citizens of the galaxy?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
But maybe the fact that we're looking for alien life, that we're thinking about these possibilities, means that we're evolving, starting to think beyond our own little world.
Perhaps. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be the ones exploring new worlds, meeting new life forms, and dealing with the challenges of first contact from the other side.
Now that's a future I'd like to see. But for now, let's keep exploring these ideas, keep asking questions, and stay open to the infinite possibilities that are out there beyond what we understand right now.
I agree. And who knows, maybe the biggest discovery we'll make in our search for extraterrestrial life won't be out there among the stars, but right here within ourselves.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing to think that the answer to, are we alone in the universe could be right here, maybe even inside us.
Right. It shows that looking for extraterrestrial life isn't just about, scanning the skies for signals or looking for weird lights. It's also about understanding ourselves, where we fit in the grand scheme of things, and the potential that's within our own minds.
This whole deep dive has really got me thinking. We started talking about spaceships and wormholes, and now we're talking about consciousness, and maybe the answers are inside of us. It's a lot.
That's the best part of exploring. It's not always about getting the answers you expect. It's about seeing things in new ways, questioning what you thought you knew, and just being open to new ideas.
I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this. Warp drives, wormholes, parallel universes, time travel, bioengineered aliens, super intelligent AI. It's It's a lot to take in.
It's true, we've covered a lot of ground. But I think that feeling of awe, of being amazed, is what makes this topic so fascinating. It reminds us that we're just starting to understand the universe and how we fit into it.
So where do we go from here? We've talked about all these incredible possibilities, but we still don't have any real answers. Does that mean we should just give up and say, okay, guess we're alone then?
Not at all. Just because we don't have all the answers doesn't mean we stop looking. It just means we need to keep exploring, asking questions, pushing the limits of what we know.
I like that. It's like the universe is challenging us to be bolder, to think bigger, to imagine things we never thought possible. But part of me still feels kind of lost in all these possibilities. We've talked about so many theories, each one crazier than the last. Is there any way to narrow it down, to figure out which ones are more likely?
That's a tough one. Each theory has its good points and bad points, and we just don't have enough evidence to say for sure which one is right. I think the key is to focus on the basics, the laws of physics that run the universe.
So instead of getting lost in the details of warp drives and wormholes, we should be looking for clues in the fabric of reality itself.
Exactly. If we can understand the deeper rules at work, we can start to rule some things out and focus on what's more likely to be possible, even if it sounds crazy at first.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the bigger picture. It's like we're detectives trying to solve this giant cosmic mystery. We have all these clues, but we have to find the connections, the patterns that will lead us to the truth.
I like that analogy. And the more we learn about the universe, the more pieces of the puzzle we have. Every new discovery, every new technology gets us closer to understanding what's really going on and how extraterrestrial travel might actually work.
So even if we never get a definite answer, the journey itself is still worth it.
Absolutely. Searching for knowledge, trying to understand our place in the cosmos, it's one of the most important things we can do as humans. It's what pushes us to explore, to invent, to push the limits of what we think is possible.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll look back at all our current theories and think, wow, we were so wrong. Maybe the truth is way more incredible than anything we can imagine right now.
Exactly. The universe is full of surprises, and I think we've only just begun to see what's really out there.
Well, everyone, that wraps up our deep dive into the mind-blowing world of extraterrestrial travel. We've talked about some wild theories, looked at the scientific and technological hurdles, and even thought about what it would mean to meet another intelligent species.
And while we might not have all the answers, I hope this exploration has made you curious, sparked your imagination, and left you with a sense of wonder about what might be waiting out there beyond our planet.
So keep looking up in the stars, keep asking those big questions, and never stop exploring the mysteries of the universe. Who knows what incredible discoveries are waiting for us? Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, and until next time, keep wondering.